Hello, hello, hello. Um, all right, where is our beauty queen, Amanda? Where is Amanda Lee? There she is. She's so cute. Come in, Amanda. Are you there? Connecting. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, gorgeous.
Okay, so I've never done this before on a split
I
screen.
love that. I love it that so many people they're just trying this new outlet, right?
I know, I love it. I saw your post about how we're connecting now via social media. Thank goodness that we have it,
Yeah.
right?
I was just a new form of communicating in video, seeing our faces. It's Marco Polo. Have you tried that app?
Mm-mm.
It's like a little mini text videos, faster than like taking a video and texting it to somebody. Like they're a little quick.
Oh,
And
cool.
that was just video or Marco Poloing with somebody.
I love
And
that.
Marco Polo. And I get to see her. And this is somebody like everybody I've been Marco Poloing with.
Yeah.
Friends that I never thought would be on video. It's like my friend Michelle. Like she's so anti sort of camera, and she's all video now. So it's we've crossed a lot of bridges through this
I
whole
love that.
scenario. Yeah. How
Yeah.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. Good. Making the
Yeah.
best of this.
I know. I feel like that's what everybody is. Oh, look at you can see. Hi, Janet. Hi, Michelle. You
Yeah.
can see people saying hi. I love that.
That's awesome.
Um, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to make the most of this, right? The
Yeah.
situation, which I feel like it's super interesting being like, I feel like later on in life, we're going to refer back to this time and how we did well and what we didn't do well,
Hmm.
right? Like how we coped and all of the above.
And the things we
So,
learned, things that we changed or we are trying that we normally would not have tried otherwise,
well, and that's the
which
thing is like, I feel like for me personally, this last month plus has been really about practicing what I preach.
yep.
And I feel like there's all these things that my entire life I've been like, oh, when I have more time, I'll do this or I'll do that, or the things that I tell my patients. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I got to really do these things. And it's been amazing. It's been a really great growth month for just in my personal life, you know?
Love that because you're wicked
Yeah.
busy. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the busiest professionals I know. So we're gonna get into that because
Okay.
I'm so excited because I love everything you do. Like
Thank you.
part of my bucket list is to have an appointment with you every week for a service or two. Like if I could do your services every week, I would be a better person, emotionally, physically, and in all levels. Because so so I'm gonna start by everybody. This is Amanda Lee. Um,
Hello.
but as I read your bio, I didn't realize how accomplished you are. Like,
Oh, thank you.
holy balls! Like this is a lot of stuff you've done with your education.
Yep.
Um, you are accomplished in a lot of my favorite modalities. Well, no, all of it. Like I want to be you in my next life. You graduated
Thank you.
honors and masters in traditional Chinese medicine from the
Hmm.
esteemed Emperor's College. Uh,
Yeah.
you're also nationally board certified and
Hmm.
licensed by the state of California, which is a big deal to have the two. That's a
Yes.
big deal. Like,
Thank you.
yeah. You also offer yoga and Thai massage teaching certifications, which I
Hmm.
did not know. And but now you have dedicated yourself to the study of practice of acupuncture, right?
Hmm. Yep.
And cupping, which you'll have to expand on cupping, which is one of my favorite things.
Okay. Okay.
Painful, but it's good pain.
It hurts good. It hurts so good. It hurts
It
so
hurts
good.
so good. Yeah, like more pain, Amanda, more pain.
Well, cupping is great because for it gets a lot of people into the door of trying Chinese medicine. So I think like everybody remembers when everyone had Michael Phelps in the Olympics.
Yeah,
And so I think it's a really good way too when people, especially when people are afraid of needles, but they have pain.
that's a
And it
good.
gets people in the door and then you start to have a relationship. So when people are afraid of needles but say they come for neck pain,
Yeah,
it's a good kind of introductory.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Point because a lot of people, when I posted the pictures when I go cupping with you, my friends when I go cupping,
When I go cupping, I'm going to
my
start using that.
friends
Let's go cupping.
Let's go cupping. So with all these modalities, what I love is that everything you do, they complement each other. And also it addresses balancing chi. And I would love for you to like address chi, what that is. And
Okay.
but I have it as life energy, life force, but that can mean so much, you know?
Totally. So I guess the best way to describe Chinese medicine is being, right, we know that we have energy in our body that's moving. That's how our heart beats, that's how our blood flows. And so it's interesting because there's a lot of different ways to consider how acupuncture and Chinese medicine works. But one of the biggest ways to understand it is that, okay, so rub your hands together. This makes it a little easier. And then rub it a little bit faster so that you feel kinetic energy, or you feel just the energy in your hands. Now, separate your hands just like a teeny bit apart. And notice how you feel energy within your hands. So, right, that's that we know that by movement, we can create energy. And so knowing that just by rubbing your hands together and finding that little space and feeling the energy, that's kind of the most basic way of finding chi. So that's the chi, right? So it's kind of also like, okay, so if we know that there's an electric current around our body, some people would say an aura, or just knowing that there's energy that has to move, think basic physics, then what can make it move, right? What makes it move? We know one of the most easily polarized things is metal, right? That's how we conduct electricity, is with metal. So if you just think about it in a basic way, if you're going to put metal near or on or in your body, it's going to create a current. So your body already has the current flowing. And so if there's a lot of energy flowing, like think a river, and you put a dam, it's going to stop energy from moving one way and maybe redirect it another way. Or maybe you add it and it flows faster or better or more smooth. Does that make sense?
Okay. Right.
Okay.
So it just kind of breaks things down.
Yes. And so knowing that we have chi moves blood, and blood creates chi. So they're kind of like an infinity little circle together.
That's what I was picturing. Yeah.
Okay. And so the two we want to use at all times because they're the two main things that get the body in balance. And so if you have a disease, if you have something wrong with you, in Western medicine, they're going to give you a diagnosis, right? In Chinese medicine, we don't just look at that one thing that's wrong. We look at the whole body. So when someone comes in with something wrong, it's like, okay, great, that helps me with my diagnosis, but I'm looking at all the other random stuff. Does that make sense?
Love that. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's this basic form of how can we treat a person so that they're functioning at their optimum level? What's their optimum health? Because you can do blood work or tests and you get a result and the doctor can be like, oh, that's great. That's in parameters. But is that the best for your body? Is that the best for you? So Chinese medicine helps to more individualize medicine, in my opinion, you know? And so why is cupping so great and why people love it is that it's activating your Wei Qi. So your Wei Qi is the Qi that's on the outside of the body, which in the simplest form, we can just correlate Wei Qi with immunity. It's your body's ability to fight something off. So Wei Qi is what creates chills and fever. So you know how a lot of times if someone gets sick, we're like, do you have chills? Do you have fever? That conjunction of the two is what we call Wei Qi. So it's your fighting response. So when people have been asking me about their fever, what's my opinion on bringing the fever down? When a fever is managed, so as in it's not super high, over 102, when you have a slight fever, it's actually good because your body is using its own immune response to fight off a pathogen. Pathogen is just what we call in Chinese medicine, like the flu or a virus or whatever's kind of attacking your body. So cupping stimulates the Wei Qi, so like wakes up the body and helps to really help with lung conditions. So thousands of years ago, I read this, now I got to think about where, since quarantine, they were using cupping, Chinese medicine practitioners, a long time ago, were using cupping to fight TB. So that was one of the first times they were really recording an actual Western disease, so tuberculosis. They were fighting or treating tuberculosis with cupping. So it's always been known to open the lungs. And most people, as you know, right, we will open the back points and then you'll feel more space in your chest.
Yes, that's why I love it. So normally, is it always in the back that you do the cupping?
No, I mean, well, not to freak everybody out, but I have a little shoulder thing going on. So I did a little cupping and gua sha right here.
I love that.
So it looks terrible, but it didn't even hurt when it was happening.
Did
But
it?
I'm always like, oh, should I cover my weird bruises? So here is really common because I treat so many yogis and athletes. I mean, living right in Manhattan Beach, we have so many athletes here, volleyball players and so many.
Hockey, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, hockey. Like this is a really common area that I do treat because there'll be little impingements in the front of the deltoid, the front of the shoulder.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll treat here, but mainly I would say the top thing is the back, shoulder, neck. There's a lot of different treatments in the body that you can use cupping for. I have a few people who come specifically for cupping of their IT bands.
Of their what?
IT bands, like the outside of your thigh, where it
Oh.
gets super tight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But so if I've had tight hamstrings for like quite some time, and I've been doing a lot of stretching, a lot of different sort of movements, and would that be helpful?
Oh, yeah. So when someone just commented, cupping is good for blood circulation, which is totally true. So that's why it's great because what happens is, right, you have your epidermis, you have your dermis, your fascia as on the top of the skin. So when you put a cup on, it uses negative pressure to lift up. So you use a flame. Just trying
Yeah.
to think. Oh, here we go. So I'll use a flame. I'll light this little guy on fire.
Yep.
And I'll put it in the cup and put it down. So it uses negative pressure to lift up. So as it lifts up, the blood rushes in. So the darker the spot, it means the more stagnation was there. So the less circulation was there. So the blood rushes in. And a lot of times we think about the darker it is, the more stagnant. So I think about the darker it is, the more proteins that were broken up. So
Right.
meaning the more fresh blood is going to go in and clean up the area. So
Interesting.
it causes the body to use its own immune response. Like it basically is like, hey, wake up, do your job, heal some stuff.
So what's the difference between wet cupping and fire cupping? I want to know.
So fire cupping is just like this, right? I'll use it, I put it down. And then you maybe will move it around the back, or like, I like to leave my cups for 10 minutes or so, depending on the condition, depending on what their injury is, depending on their constitution. But let's just say for the sake of this 10 minutes. And then I usually look, see what's happening, move them around a little bit because it feels good, like an inside out massage.
Right.
Wet cupping is if I pierce the area. So if I needled it and pulled the needle and put it on, or there's certain people who will lance it, which is illegal in the state of California, will lance it to bleed and then put the cup on. So what it does is it pulls out pathogenic blood. So think about this most simple way to think about it is like if you have varicose veins, like the veins, or like the little teeny veins on your legs, or you can bleed those. And there's been a lot of research to show that it does miraculous things in the body to relieve pain and tension. And so they think about that dark blood that's not moving as stagnant.
Right.
So we think about that in Chinese medicine as bad because the blood is stagnant and it's not healthy blood.
Right.
So a lot of times, and I've seen this a lot, it's absolutely incredible. The blood that comes out is black.
Ooh, which
I
is
know.
which
So
is
you're like,
that
that looks like pathology. So technically it is illegal in the state of California. And there's a lot of varying things. And then to be real, like, and half the time people won't even feel this, but sometimes I will cup and a little blood comes out and they won't even feel it. It's not painful. And I'm like, wow, like they had something that really needed to release there. And so it's scary to a lot of people when they're like, oh my gosh, I'm bleeding from this. But a lot of times it's just a small amount of blood. And so, and when that does happen, actually, a lot of times those people are like, that was the best cupping session, whatever, can I speak? That was the best cupping session. That felt so great. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I see a correlation, so I can understand why China, it's huge. Bloodletting is a huge thing, or wet cupping is a huge modality of treatment.
What do you do most, acupuncture or cupping?
I do a combination because, like I said, most of my people are athletes, and so they're coming for both. And the two work together in an amazing partnership. And right now, like so another modality that's a whole piece of the medicine, but we think about it in the United States as a auxiliary method, as an extra method, is moxibustion, which is lighting an herb. And that little herb, moxa, is mugwort, or in Chinese, aye, is the pinyin. And that is a big immunity booster as well, which you can use. Like a lot of people will treat just with moxa for certain conditions.
And my husband has a question for you.
I love it. Okay. How would you explain yin and yang balance to the Western mindset? Okay. So, do you guys know, I was thinking if I have one, the Tai Chi, we call it Yin Yang, the
Mm-hmm.
Yin Yang sign? Okay. So the Yin Yang, which we say Yin Yang, is called the Tai Chi. And so we know that half of it is white and half of it is black. So within the white, we have that black dot. Within the black, we have the white dot. So what that means is that yin and yang are not possible without each other. So there's always an element of yin and there's always an element of yang. So if you think about that as like one of the base principles. To make it easy, we think of yin as the feminine and yang as the masculine. So yin is more water and relaxed and chill, just kind of like with yoga. And yang is more energized and it's fire element. And so we all have a little bit of that. Like not one person is one element. So they aren't separated. My friends always laugh at me when I teach
I love
yin,
it.
because I say yin and yang are only separate in death. So that's the only time that they're separate. So if you think about it, right? Do you ever notice how during the day, a lot of times we can still see the moon?
Yep.
So the moon being this yin element, it's still there in the daytime. We just might not see it. And
Hmm.
so they're always moving around. And so everybody can have, so when we're in complete balance, which one is, yin and yang are balanced and they're in line. So some people, like for instance, my dad, luckily doesn't have Instagram. My dad is very fiery. He's so young. He's really red. He's got a little hypertension and he's so active all the time. He's like a little ADHD. So he has a higher yang. He has more fire. So his yin might still be completely at a normal level, but relative to his yang, yin is deficient. So we all have a friend that's like really flowy and really grounded and maybe like a little too much. You're like, whoa, can you speed it up a little bit? So this person may have a normal amount of yang, but her yin or his yin is so high that the yang seems not in balance.
So how
And
would
so
you balance it?
acupuncture. So I mean, it's doing things that help to cultivate. So there's food you can eat if you're yin deficient or yang deficient, right? There's nutrition. There is activities. Like if someone is really has really red, really fiery, maybe hypertension. You don't want them to do a HIIT class. You want them to be going to Soul Cycle 3 times a day. You'd be
Right.
like, okay, let's have you do more yin activities. Why don't you take some yin yoga? Why don't you meditate? Why don't you do a little bit of both, right? And if someone is really yin and tired and always napping and you're like, what's going on here? Maybe you give them more activities that are yang.
Okay.
So it's finding a way to treat each individual person. So yin and yang are like the two polarities in life. That's the basis of Chinese medicine. So we start with, okay, is someone more yin or someone more yang? Then we go deeper. Are they more hot? Are they more cold? So we take that and then either move to 5 elements thinking, or that's basically the first way we diagnose. And then it breaks up into subsections. Does
Okay.
that make sense? Does that help? Where's
Yeah.
your husband? Does that make sense?
Very. Does it make sense to you? He's very young. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I am very young, and my
yeah.
husband is very yin. Ryan
Yeah.
is so chill all the time,
I know.
but I think we need that.
That's why opposites attract. That's why,
Hmm.
we need
Exactly.
each other to just balance each other out. So,
Exactly.
so the first time I went to you, you had an extensive, he said, yep.
Yep. Okay, good.
You had an extensive sort of take-in form because
Hmm.
you really do look at the whole person. It's not
Hmm.
just diagnosis and prognosis. It's just extensive,
Hmm.
Can you expand on that, on just sort of how
Yeah.
you,
So
obviously it's very
that.
one-on-one. There's a lot of questions involved. It's not a
Mhm.
little band-aid.
Exactly. And so we're looking at basic general medical history, and then we're asking questions to find out what organ system. Sorry, my roommate's here, he's on the phone. It's talking about what organ system is predominant or which organ system is deficient. So like we were saying, which things are in harmony and which ones are excess and deficiency in comparison to each other.
Okay.
So for instance, say a woman comes to me for infertility,
Yep.
which is always like, oh, people get labeled with certain things and they come in and they generally have this idea about what their treatment will be. But then what my job is to look at all of the organ systems and see what's happening, to see where there is an excess or where there's a deficiency by asking questions about the organ systems. So For instance, when one of the big things someone comes to me, I'll ask them, if it's for infertility, I'll ask them how much time they're spending in front of the computer, how much time they're on technology, how their energy is, how their sleep is. Because if their sleep is disturbed, then I'm looking at, okay, are they frequently waking? Are they having bizarre dreams? It could be a liver blood deficiency, or it could be, they could have a little liver fire happening. And so then based on what they're telling me, we go down different paths of asking questions.
Interesting. That is such a sensitive subject because, you know, when I get pregnant, it's the natural course of life, and to not be able to, do you find it that those patients are open to the treatments?
And that's the thing, is usually when they're coming to me, they've read a book, The Infertility Cure, or they heard from someone, or they know someone who got pregnant because of acupuncture when Western medicine said they wouldn't, or Western medicine said the only thing for you is IVF, which is still an amazing option. And it's great that we have that for people. But a lot of times it's their solution could be to just put someone on Clomid, where for me, it's like, okay, depending on the modality or depending on what's happening in their diagnosis, it's usually coming once, better is 2 or 3 times a week. We treat the root instead of the branch. So it's not just like, oh, this hormone's low, let's give you that hormone synthetically. It's okay, let's re-regulate your system so that your body starts to produce the hormones that it's not.
Right.
And so that's why we look at the different channels, the 12 main meridians.
Nice. What is you kind of suggestion, please? Can you read it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I mean, and I have a few, like I just was in Beverly Hills seeing my acupuncturist who's an energy healer who does amazing supplements and that are homeopathic and different things, not just traditional herbs. So like, I think that the biggest thing is I tell my patients is to see a lot of people, but have them work together. So I work with a lot of different doctors, a lot of different OBGYNs, a lot of different nutritionists and therapists, because it really, for some reason, we've stepped away from having a tribe. And I feel like now we're realizing we need it. There's not one person. We're all human beings. There's not just one doctor. And I feel like when people put all of their faith in me, which I love and respect, I'm like, okay, but let's get you a team. Yeah. Let's get you a lot of people, because especially we live in LA, like there's access to so many people.
Resources here, so many amazing wellness modalities and solutions. You know, I love Chinese medicine, herbs. Yeah. And do you do a lot of that at your practice in Manhattan Beach?
Do I do a lot of what?
A lot of Chinese medicine?
Herbs. Yeah. So I do a lot of herbs, which I love. And I mean, it's been great. Like right now, we have been selling a lot of immunity herbs, which is awesome because people are like, oh, wait, I can take control of my health and I can be preventative. And that's really what Chinese medicine is about, is being preventative with your health. And for me, and what I try to instill in my patients is for them to really be proactive and be an advocate for their own health. Because I feel like with the team thing, I feel like gone are the days of being like the doctor knows best, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what would be some of those herbs, like immunity herbs? Particularly?
Okay. So what I've been telling, I grabbed a few of them, but of course, most of them are at my office, but I keep a stock at home because, you know. So one of my favorite formulas is called Yu Ping Feng San. It's called Jade Windscreen Formula. And it's kind of like the big, famous, thousands of years old formula to boost your immunity. And so the one that I use, which is kind of a hot topic right now, is I use a jade formula that's made in California that they've added mushrooms, they've added mushroom extracts to it. So we know that mushrooms are huge antiviral, huge, like on every front, amazing. There's so much research. And if you are like really wanting to know more about mushrooms, Four Stigmatic, which is pretty famous in LA, mushroom company, the guy that started that, he's brilliant. You can look at their Instagram and he's constantly posting real research, real medical research that is backed by 1,000,001 different people on showing the benefits of mushrooms. And I'm just amateur with mushrooms, but it's been a part of Chinese medicine since the beginning, since the earliest Ben Sao's, which were like the first books. So this formula that I have, which of course like a month ago it went out of stock and it's back, so I bought a bunch, is like the best, and it's made in California, which is awesome. I have a bunch of different formulas, and it you know, I can put some online and tag you so you can share for people.
Yep.
And I have some stuff that people can get themselves.
Yep.
And I will totally do some acupuncture points in
Yeah.
30 seconds. I have this medical company called Thorn.
Yeah.
I love. You guys can order Thorn yourself online. I'm going to give you a code after this, Karina, that you can post so that people can get, it should be for 20% off. I texted them and asked them for emails so that people can buy it and you can order it yourself. They have high doses vitamin C, vitamin D. They have another thing, mycoimmune, which is a mushroom formula. And I can post information about that to not waste your time right now. You guys can read it. Vitamin D with K2 is the best. So much research shows that that's the best way to absorb it in the body because K2 is one of its factors that's needed. And then the other formula that's a Western formula from Thorn is called Phytogen. Okay. And Phytogen is amazing because it has astragalus root, which is a Chinese herb, Wang Qi, which basically builds everything up in the body. It's going to give you a little energy. It's going to promote healthy immune function. Then echinacea root is in it. Echinacea root basically increases the mucosal lining in your respiratory tract.
Wow.
So we want to regenerate that. It has, what else does it have in it? Shashandra, another immune booster lining the tract, and there's one other thing in it. But again, I can post that and you guys can read it.
Well, for sure. A lot of great information, for sure.
Yes. It's just sometimes it's like, whoa, so much. But I'll give it to you to post. Because that Phytogen, it's like, I think it's like $12, it's less than $15, I think. So effective. So I have 3 points that I was thinking for you guys. Right. So the first one is amazing. Most people know this one. If you're pregnant, you don't do this one because it's a big mover. So you don't want to move too much energy in the body because you think about a baby being something that we don't want to move, right? A little phlegm ball. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep it safe. So this one, most of you guys know it. It is super great because it's going to move things in the body. So it disperses wind. So I'll show you guys, then I'll tell you about it while we're doing it. So taking your hand and you're going to pinch this little area. So you'll feel the juice. You'll feel that. So then once you see that, I like to do it with my thumb because I can really get in there. So do you feel how it's tender? It's like kind of terrible. So this is, it hurts good. So this is called large intestine 4. So if you ever have a headache, a frontal headache, this is a really good one. But again, we don't want to do this if we're trying to grow a human being. So this one you're going to press. It resolves exterior conditions. So an exterior condition is something that is the flu or whatever is coming up, a pathogen that's entering your body where you have fever and chills. So where your Wei Qi is fighting, this disperses wind, resolves it. It helps with sweating. When you're sweating, you're fighting something off, right? So helps in that sense. It's great for pain. And it also, the reason I also love it is it calms the spirit.
I love that.
So now switch to the other side. Boop, boop, boop. So you're getting the other one. So it's creating space in the channel and it's clearing lung heat as well. So it's got a lot of things, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. So for this one, I love to just pinch it and hold it, and you can feel it, right? So it's that spot where you can see the highest amount coming up.
Oh,
just between, and so you just pinch it. It's great. I've seen this work so many times for people when they have a headache. It's really great. Yeah. It's really great when you have someone else do it if you have a headache because their squeezing is going to feel more intense than your own, usually. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is same channel. So this is LA4. We're going LI10, so large intestine 10. So you can look these up, and there's so much info. So if you go to your elbow crease, and you see where that little line that is your elbow ends, you're going to move towards your thumb about 2 thumbs distance. So if you were like, okay, 1, 2, and then you're going to move around there. So there's a point right next to it. So as you move back and forth, and I know a lot of my people that have jumped on here, they did this in one of my little tutorials on Instagram. But this one, it's super great because it's right next to a big immunity point, triple intestine 8, which is a newer point to me because it's not kind of in our main ones. But so pressing here, it's also great. My handstanders, my CrossFitters, all my people that do a lot of fitness, a lot of work, punching, my boxers, all of them, this is going to be super tender. So you're just going to rub around a little bit. And again, if you have somebody that you can have do this to you, that's super fun too. So all of these, we'll switch to the other side. All of these are really great to do. You can do them multiple times a day. And I just like to, on this one, make little circles, making little circles. And so when you make little circles, you're hitting that LI10 and you're hitting that extra immune point, both of which are good. So LI10, it's so sensitive, so sensitive. The other thing, if you have a table in front of you, if you have a way to do this, you can put your arm down and use your opposite elbow, which hurts so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I will do these when I'm working or when I'm in between. I'll do them for about a minute each. And you can do them as many times as you want. Okay, the last one, because I know that everybody is like ready to go. Okay, so here's my knee. Da-da-da. So kneecap. And then you're going to feel your shin bone right over the top. And then if your hand is here, you're right where your finger dips in, right after the knee.
Okay.
Right to it's lateral to the shin bone is stomach 36. So again, you can look this point up, stomach 36. So you're just going to have your thumb there and massage it out, massage it out. So this one really great with LI10 to harmonize stomach. So we know now that the stomach, the microbiome of the gut, is really correlated to immunity and correlated to brain health.
Okay.
So most of our big guys for mood, serotonin, all the big mood stabilizers come from the stomach. So when I massage this one, I think not just of increasing immunity, but also of increasing mood.
Okay.
Because I know I'm getting my stomach lining stronger. So stomach 36, switch to your other side. Is, oh, Alex, I thought it was Alex. Who's this? Tammy James. So much gold. So as you rub this other stomach 36, think about you're strengthening weak conditions in the body. So meaning you're sending this energy, because this is the big producer of chi and blood in the body. You're sending energy where it needs to go. This point is one of our big points for dispelling pathogens. So it prevents disease, it builds immunity, it's stimulating your yuan qi, which is like, oh, there's Alex. Hi, Alex. Your guys' Instagram handles look similar. And then you're getting your body to expel.
Okay.
So you can mean that in many ways, but we're expelling things, we're transforming things, we're keeping the movement of chi through the body and stimulating your body to make good chi and blood.
So these points are the on the outer part of the knee, right?
Yep. So let me show you again. Putting my leg up here. So here's my kneecap, right? And then if I put it kind of angled so that my index finger is straight along the shin, I'm going to take it just lateral of the shin, right onto the outside, and just massage this little guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been pressuring the right area.
I know, but that's the thing is these are all really easy to look up, and there's a million photos online. So I'll say them again. Large intestine 4, large intestine 10, and stomach 36.
I love that, stomach 36.
Yeah. So there's so much information. You'll be easy to find a picture online, to just doing it yourself.
So when I first met you, with your friend Star at that gathering at that gorgeous house.
Yes.
These amazing little acupressure beads.
So the ear, the whole ear, if you think about the way it looks, minus my, whatever this thing is called, it's like a fetus. I was thinking if I have anything around here right now. It's like a fetus curled up. Okay. And so you can treat the entire body via the ear. And so basically, if you can see, right, here's the head, here is the back, here's the spinal cord, and the way that you see that little divot, the triangular fossa, is the two legs, the genitals in between, and then the vital organs are inside of the ear. And so the ear acupuncture, auricular acupuncture, has been studied so much. If you want to nerd out and you've got time, look up NADA protocol, NADA. Okay. It's this protocol of 5 points that was being used in the 70s. Everybody knows Tupac, the rapper.
Yeah.
Tupac's father was actually a social worker in the 70s and was going into underserved in New York and was treating people addicted to drugs just by needling these 5 points. No talk therapy, just needling these 5 points, and had crazy success rates in getting people off drugs. just by needling these points. The ear is super effective because the vagus nerve goes through the ear, which is one of the cranial nerves. And so vagus nerve stimulates parasympathetic and sympathetic activity in the body. So it basically re-regulates your nervous system. So there's more to it than that, but that's like the spark notes. So I love to, when my patients leave, I put ear seeds on them because it keeps the treatment going longer. So it keeps chi moving longer, and it's just really good for keeping grounded. Amazing. And they're super cute, right? Let me see. I think I have some here.
No, I love them. They're very fashionable too.
You can't really see through the package, but they're like pretty.
They're pretty. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah. And I have ones for men that are not sparkly, or for women that don't want the sparkles.
They're like Band-Aid likes, and you put gals, they're more bedazzled.
Yeah, they're amazing. So that's super great. And you know, I've sent some home with patients because right now people are doing different things to treat themselves. And so I can't cut off.
Nikki's wondering, with today's environment, oh shoot, hang on. Are there some things that we can do at home to get in balance? That's a good question.
Definitely. So doing those 3 points is going to be, it's so amazing. So amazing. Okay. So doing those 3 points, like I said, vitamin C and vitamin D are really going to help you right now with immunity. Okay. And you don't have to take thorn ones. You can take your own vitamin C and vitamin D. If you have D, great, better with K2. And again, I'll give you the discount for whatever it is that they gave me to give to people so that I'm not, it's not like a profit thing for me. Really important, and I know we don't have much time left, so I'll say it quick, is that meditation is huge. That's been something I've been really focusing on right now, because when you are stressed out or when you have a lot of fear, you increase cortisol in your body. And there is so much research coming out of Harvard on a regular basis, which is amazing. Harvard and UCLA's East West Medical Center, about the importance of meditation and what it does for us overall. So from the simplest perspective, meditation lowers cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. When you're creating cortisol in your body, if your body's revving up to create cortisol, it's usually not creating something else that it should be creating. So there's usually another hormone or something else that gets deficient as cortisol gets in excess. And so when cortisol gets in excess, your immunity goes down. So more than anything, if say you're staying home and you're like, I'm not going out, fine. Don't worry about vitamin C, vitamin D. Massage these points for starters. I'm trying to post something every week with points on my thing. I'm trying to film a little 20-minute class every Wednesday. Try to watch those. Helpful. No profit or anything for me. Like, I'm just doing that because I feel like everyone is stressed. And see if you can meditate every day. And if you're like, I cannot meditate, send me a message and I'll send you resources online that are free. And so if you can meditate even just a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes at night, you're creating so much space for your body to heal in all ways.
It works.
And it's free. Meditation's free. So it really does.
It is.
And it's it's underrated. And there's a few studies too that I can post about, I'll try to remember, about when we meditate every day, you increase the length over about 5 years or so of meditating, that you increase the length of telomeres. And telomeres basically keep you alive in a healthy way longer. So if you're increasing the length of your telomeres, that's out of Harvard. They published that, I think, like a year and a half ago now. But that's amazing because, okay, great to live a long time, but wouldn't it be better to be healthy the whole time? You know, to have your mind there, your body there. And so that's like my vote for meditation. I saw something else, few words about electroacupuncture. Electroacupuncture is amazing. We call it e-stim. You hook up electrodes. Yeah, you know, it's really great. There's an amazing protocol that's been studied for increasing the uterine lining and for increasing the amount of, or the vitality of eggs before retrieval for fertility patients. So that's really when I like to use e-stim. I use it on the low back. But e-stim is generally, did you ever use a TENS machine, like a TENS from your PT or chiropractor? So it's basically, you hook it up to the needles and it makes the needles vibrate. So it's so it makes the muscle fibers wake up. And so it's, some people use it a lot. I use it very selectively because I'll use it if, say someone's coming for pain and I'm not getting as good of results as I'd want to, then I will try e-stim. I never really do e-stim right out the gate because I feel that I can do it with just the needles. But sometimes there's cases, you know.
I do enjoy that before a good crack, a good adjustment, because I feel like it just really opens it up. Yeah.
So it's basically like, it's just doing it to the muscle. So you'll see, like if I was to needle myself my e-stims at my office, it will twitch, like the needles will be moving. And so it gives a different type of treatment, which is great. Like a lot of people use it. It's super effective for, there's 2 points that if you e-stim, it's really effective for depression and anxiety. So sometimes, so those are a few, it's not always just for pain. So those are the 3 I would use it for: pain, depression, and then my fertility patients.
Do you have that in your practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple of machines. Yeah. So it's good.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anybody, few words about it? So you did that. Make this a podcast. Oh, that's so fun. Remind me of my great. This is like, you're a wealth of information.
Thank you.
You really should be putting a podcast for sure. I'm just like blown away.
I'm getting used to seeing myself on a screen, you know, it's weird. Like having to film yoga and do these things, like it's weird. And then I hear myself afterwards and I'm like, I sound like that?
Yeah. I would have never done it before this sort of staying home scenario.
Yeah,
and
but it's good.
The need of, yeah.
So I'll post anything on there. Please feel free to message me on Instagram and with any questions. And every Wednesday I film a class for 20 minutes that I'm posting on IGTV that I talk, like the first week we did immunity, the second week we did digestion. So I'm trying to have different topics. If you have requests for that, thanks Yolanda. And so anything that you want or need, please message me. I'm just trying to help out people as much as possible, as much as I can. Do you do Qi exercise? I do Tai Chi. Maybe a personal thing for me is I never, and this will start a whole thing, but I never had a period. I have PCOS and I never had a period almost my entire life. And when I went to school, I started getting a regular period through getting acupuncture treatments. And then when I went to school, I started doing Qigong, and doing Qigong made me get a regular period and I linked up with all my school friends. So Qigong is amazing. Again, something else that can be free. Look on YouTube, look at Qigong.
How do you spell it?
Exercise, QI space GONG. You're welcome, Michelle. So you can look up Qigong, and if you can't find it or find something, message me and I'll find something for you. I'm really trying to help out anyone that needs it. So please ask me any questions, shoot me a message. If I don't respond, message me again to make sure, because Instagram's weird.
You are information. It's so good to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. This was fun. We'll have to do it again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Somebody loves you and misses you.
Oh, and Tammy loves Qigong. I love it. Hi, Bobby.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, Tammy. There's so many.
Well, I know.
Medicine that we can't spell correctly.
Oh, don't be sorry. I like the questions. It keeps it going. Right? It keeps it interactive.
They're great. Thank you. All right. I adore you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is
of
such
course.
information for people. I'm sure you're going to get messages with questions.
Good. Send them my way. It makes me use my brain. I like it.
And I can't wait for this to pass and for all to come back and get some cupping.
I know. Me too.
Okay.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day. Be safe, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, love.